I'm going to talk to you about the Pink+3 pay plan. So what I encourage each of you to do right now, we'll take a couple seconds, is go grab something that has the pay plan in it so that you can follow along a little bit more easily. In our Polka Dotted Pocket Guide, the Spring Summer of 2016, it is on page 9, big, large, and in charge, big ol' spread here. And if you're working off of your catalogs, the current catalog, we're on page 45. If we're past this season, down in the future, it's always going to be somewhere in your Polka Dotted Pocket Guide and somewhere in your paper. So you should always have access to it. If you don't have access to either of these tools, you can find it on the box very, very easily, but you should always have access to it. So, my babbling, you've probably now had time to grab your pay plan. Great! So we're working from Pink+2 up to Pink+3, right? We know now how to read our pay plan all the way across. So, still, always, you're going to need that $500 in personal volume. Now we need 3 qualified frontline consultants. So again, that's 3 people who you personally recruited to sell at least $200 in any given month. And then we need $8,000 per month in company volume. So we're doubling what we needed for Pink+2, right? So we remember from the previous pay plan video, we'll use some Jessica math here. Let's say we have to get to this $8,000, right? I have to sell 500 of that myself at least. So I can take 8,000 minus that 500 and I'm left with $7,500. So again, if we're looking at that bare minimum $200 to qualify, which again, we can generally count on as a basic $200 per person, it's going to be a pretty good way to figure out, kind of how to set your goals and what we're looking at. So if we're going off of $200 per person, we take that $7,500 that we're left with, we divide it by 200, and we have 37.5 people. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of growth that we're looking at here. There is something a little bit different that you guys can look at now, though, since we're looking toward that higher level. Most likely we've had some promotions underneath us, right? Somewhere in our downline, we've had people move up to higher levels. So obviously you're still going to have your new people, your proteges, and your pinks, but we're going to start seeing some Pink+1s and some Pink+2s, and maybe even a Pink+3 underneath you once you start moving up a little bit. So when you're projecting out what you're looking at to set your goals, and kind of look at what the people on your downline are doing, where's my front line? And I can see how much I can count on from each of them if they're doing what they should be doing, right? So let's say I know that I need to get my $500, and I better take notes for myself. I have 2 Pink+1s underneath me and 1 Pink+2 underneath me, okay? Actually, if we're doing, no, we'll change that, because we're going for Pink+2 to promote to Pink+3. Sorry, my brain. Okay, so I'm a Pink+2, and I'm looking to move up to Pink+3, right? So we're going to say I have 3 Pink+1s underneath me, okay? So from each of those Pink+1s, if we go back in our pay plan, we know that they need $2,000 a month in company volume, right? So if I have 3 of those guys on my team, that means that I can count on $6,000 from those teams, most likely. If they're really sticking with it and if they're growing and everything is consistent with them, I can count on 6,000 of those dollars. I can count on 500 from myself, right? So that's $1,000 outside of those teams that you have to kind of play with between your pinks and your proteges to kind of help project yourself. It's very, very easy to go down and see where people are struggling as well. If you have a Pink+1 who hasn't hit their numbers, you can look back and say, okay, you had a great first 2 months, and then, your team kept going, but you weren't able to get your $500 either month, so you haven't been getting paid on your downline. How can I help? What are we looking at? What kind of struggles are you having? That way, you can look and really hone down and really focus on your leadership skills. Couple other things that I want you guys to be aware of while we're looking here. Again, Mine's not going to focus the way that Jesse's did, so I apologize. I'm not even going to do that. That's why I have you guys following along. But if you look here, you can see where you've gotten your pay increases, right? So we have our 25% still that we got when we hit pink. That's always going to be paid on Wednesday. And then we have the additional 5% now that you're going to get paid on the 10th of the month. So that puts you at 30% total commission on your own purchases, which is pretty good, right? Purchases, sales. Don't be buying all of that. But then from there, we get our 2% increase. So we're now 5% on all of our frontline proteges, 4% on our pinks, 3% on our Pink+1s, 2% on our Pink+2s, and then we can count on another 1% off of Pink+3s that come up. That's great. The only thing that I want you guys to be aware of too while we're looking at this is that if you have a Pink+3 leader and you're a Pink+3 leader, it's really, really awesome. You have one strong leg that can, if they're growing faster than you and building faster than you, they could hit Premier, and you don't necessarily hit Premier. If you only have those 3 qualified frontline consultants, your company could do $40,000 in a month, and you would still only get paid and still be a Pink+3. So what you really need to do here while you're recruiting is make sure that you are recruiting. You can't just expect your downline to do it for you. It has to be you. You have to keep building your frontline continually. This is a great, great, great time if you haven't already started doing it to start aiming for that monthly award, because if you're getting that monthly award, that ensures that you're growing your frontline by 1, 2, or 3 people at least every single month. And that's huge. It's huge for frontline growth, huge for your pay plan, and huge for moving you up the ranks of Posh. Another really, really important thing for you guys when you're setting your goals every month is to look for 15 to 20% team growth. That's 15 to 20% increase in how many people are on your team and how many new team members you're bringing in. That number is going to keep growing and growing and growing, and it's going to make sure if you're hitting those goals that you're moving up the pay plan the way that you should be, in a way that's organic and helps you, so that if you hit Pink+3 with 10 people on your team, again, you're taking that load off of other people's shoulders. That's a lot. That's like almost $1,000 per person average that you're looking at, and you can't expect that from people every month. It's just not reasonable. So if you continue to grow by that 15 to 20%, you're going to make sure that you're able to keep promoting and maintain simply, and it's going to set you up for really, really big success when you're going to make that jump from the $8,000 required for Pink+3 to the $20,000 that's required for Premier. And that's something that once you hit Pink+3, you really want to start looking at, is how am I going to get myself to that next level? Because this is a huge jump once you get here. So, recap. We still need our $500 personal volume, right? We need $8,000 in company volume. And we need 3 qualified frontline consultants. And again, you get your raises, you get to that 30% personal commission, and you get paid on way more of your downline. So it's wonderful. Ask us if you have any questions, guys. Thanks.